Archie, and today we are going to watch US strike Iran using two aircraft carrier because we all know what is happening between US and Iran, and we all just know about the clips and the videos that we have been seeing. We don't know about what actually deeply is happening and how US is planning, how is combining with coordinating with Israel to work on all these operations. So I think this might be something that we would acknowledge, and we'll get to know more about it. So just let's get into this video.
Why do you need a second aircraft carrier in the Middle East? Well, this isn't a rotation. This is a convergence. When these two behemoths of nuclear aircraft carriers meet, they will form a dual carrier strike force, a level of firepower capable of ending a war or starting one. Getting the new Gerald Ford to the fight is a logistical marathon. Currently operating in the Atlantic Theater, the carrier, along with the relentless destroyers of Strike Group 12, must execute a high-speed transit. They will pierce the Strait of Gibraltar, navigate the narrow choke point of the Suez Canal, and descend through the Red Sea. It's a 3-week race against time. But why? Why rush a second carrier to a region already patrolling with a Nimitz-class supercarrier? In modern naval warfare, the most dangerous enemy isn't a missile. It is exhaustion. A single carrier crew cannot fight forever. Humans need sleep, machines need repair. To solve this, the Lincoln and the Ford will not take turns launching one plane at a time. Instead, they will trade entire shifts. This is the doctrine of the battle rhythm. But why do you need this battle rhythm strategy for a carrier strike group? Imagine a floating city with nuclear fuel and 5,000 people. Without a system, it's chaos. Simply put, battle rhythm is the daily heartbeat of the ship. It synchronizes the admiral's decisions with the sailor's sweat. There are two pulses. First, the operational pulse. This is the air plan. For 12 to 15 hours, the ship runs continuous cycle operations, launching and catching jets every 60 to 90 minutes. It is a deafening, non-stop assembly line of violence. Second, the command pulse.
The command pulse.
While jets fly, commanders cycle through a fixed schedule of intel briefs, targeting boards, and night orders. Battle rhythm turns 24 hours of chaos into a sustainable routine of war. If you lose the rhythm, you lose the fight.
Yeah, the whole rotation.
Still confused? Let me simplify this further for two carriers working together. From midnight to noon, the U.S. Abraham Lincoln owns the darkness.
Okay.
This is the night shift. The Lincoln, a veteran of the Nimitz class, relies on her experienced air wing and battle-tested steam catapults to hammer targets under the cover of night. For 12 hours, she launches wave after wave, but as the sun climbs high, her shift ends. By noon, the Lincoln recovers her last jet and goes quiet, entering reset mode for maintenance and crew rest. But the enemy gets no reprieve. Because as the Lincoln winds down, the U.S. Gerald R. Ford ramps up. From noon to midnight, the Ford takes the day shift. Using her electromagnetic launch system, she generates a higher tempo of sorties, launching raids when visual identification is easiest.
I like the fact
She's
that
faster, more
Lincoln
efficient,
used
and
to
relentless.
pronounce he, and for this
The result is a suffocating embrace. The Lincoln haunts the night.
Nimitz.
The Ford dominates the day. Between them, they ensure that for the adversary, there is no safe hour. There is only the noise of the next launch. But with two carriers, the Navy unlocks the continuous strike doctrine. As stated, the Lincoln owns the night, the Ford owns the day. By staggering their schedules, the United States can keep strike fighters in the air 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There is no reset. There is no pause. For the adversary, the skies are never safe. Then there is the raw volume of fire. This is the Alpha Strike. A single carrier brings about 50 strike aircraft. Two carriers, that brings nearly 100 dedicated fighters to the theater.
Wow.
The radar programming and software on the Gerald R. Ford class aircraft carrier allow it to process massive amounts of information instantly. For example, when small killer drones are detected flying toward the flight deck, the system can quickly identify the most important threats, coordinate multiple weapon systems, and engage them by firing the close-in weapon system Fallon's guns. This automated process requires much less manual control compared to older aircraft carriers, making the Ford class much more effective at neutralizing fast, small threats. That's the kinetic defense system. But what about cyber warfare? Well, we have this military-grade app that fights to keep you stealthy under the radar. Even if you are bombarded with all kinds of spam emails, jump calls, and all kinds of online breaches with our financial data. This data doesn't just result in spam and scam attempts. It can also affect your insurance rates and ultimately will lead into a loan denial just when you might need credit. Incogni helps protect your privacy by regularly scanning and preventing data brokers from re-uploading your information. You'll also get a clear, real-time dashboard to track the status of your data. As an add-on with Incogni Unlimited plans, you can gain access to this custom removal tool. Now, try searching for yourself, your full name, city, and state. You'll probably be shocked to see how many websites publicly display your private information. That's where Incogni comes in. Copy the link of any site exposing your information. Go to the custom removals tool, paste the link, and click submit. That's it. Then wait about 30 to 45 days, and just like that, your data is removed. So take your personal data back with Incogni. Use code AITELLY with the link below incogni.com/AITELLY and get 60% off on an annual plan. If diplomacy fails, these two ships can generate a pulse of power sufficient to overwhelm advanced air defense networks simultaneously.
Oh.
It is saturation warfare for the enemy. Too many jets targeting the Iranian, coming from too many vectors all at once. And let's not forget the hardware itself, of the biggest aircraft carrier ever sailed. How big? Well, for comparison, the Nimitz-class aircraft carrier looks almost the same, but the Ford's deck size is much larger. Let's break it down further. The Ford has around 25 decks or
Not the
layers spanning
size.
from the bottom of the hull to the top of the superstructure, while the Nimitz-class has about 18 decks.
So many
These
layers.
decks or layers span vertically through the ship's hull and superstructure, showing a significant difference in size and capacity. This size difference gives the
That's a
Ford
whole
class an
different
advantage.
story.
It typically carries up to 90 aircraft, while the Nimitz class generally accommodates around 60, though maximum configurations for both can exceed these numbers. That's roughly a 30 aircraft advantage. All of this is largely due to the Ford's larger, more open hangar bay and wider flight deck. To give you a better idea of how the Ford accommodates such a
Imagine
large
the
number of
weight
aircraft,
on this.
most are stored in the hangar bay,
Yeah,
which is directly
for
below the
so
flight
many
deck,
jets,
the
yeah.
top level used for takeoffs and landings. The hangar stretches across roughly two-thirds of the ship's
Two-thirds
length and
land.
provides space for storing, maintaining, and preparing aircraft when they're not on the flight deck. The flight deck itself
maintaining
covers
them.
about
Yeah.
4.5 to 5 acres, roughly equivalent to 3.5 to 4 American football fields in length and up to 1 football field in
Whoa,
width.
American
This immense
football
area allows the
fields.
carrier to
That
accommodate
is
and operate up to
crazy.
90 jets and
Wow.
helicopters at maximum capacity. But what's the strategy behind all this attack? Before a single missile leaves a launch tube, the war begins in silence. This is Phase 1, the blackout. The United States initiates an invisible strike designed to blind Tehran instantly. High above, Space Force operations, likely utilizing the classified Silent Barker constellation, begin jamming Iranian communication satellites. In seconds, the link between the Central Command in Tehran and the provincial IRGC commanders is severed. Simultaneously, U.S. Cyber Command triggers pre-planted malware within Iran power grid, a digital weapon similar to the rumored Nitro Zeus program. The result is catastrophic for the defense. Tehran plunges into darkness. Air defense radars flicker and fail, and the leadership is left blind, deaf, and panicked. Since June, Iran has hidden its surviving mobile air defenses, the Bavar 373 and Russian-made S-400s. To hunt them, the U.S. Navy sets a trap. They launch hundreds of ADM-160 MALDs, miniature air-launched decoys. To an Iranian radar operator staring at a chaotic screen, these look exactly like a squadron of F-16s or F-15s screaming toward the capital. The bait is taken. Iranian radars light up to track the invasion force. That is the moment they die. Flying silently in the shadows, F-35s and F-22 Raptors lock onto the electromagnetic signals of the active radars. They unleash this advanced anti-radiation guided missiles.
Wow.
The Iranian air defense network isn't just suppressed, it is dismantled.
Wow.
Let's look at Phase 3. With the sky blinded and the defenders dead, the heavyweights arrive. This is the core of the
stealth
strike,
bombers.
Phase 3. Taking off from Whiteman Air Force Base in Diego Garcia, the B-2 Spirits
Yes.
approach the hardened
Yeah.
mountains of Fordo.
We know
Since the
about that.
first strike, Iran has poured deeper concrete. A single bomb might not be enough. So the U.S. Air Force executes a tactic known as
multiple
double
bombs.
tapping. The first bomber drops a GBU-57. It's a massive ordnance penetrator. It slams into the mountain, blowing open the newly reinforced blast doors. Seconds later, a second bomber drops its NOP directly into the crater created by the first. The second bomb travels vastly deeper into the mountain before detonating.
Oh,
The resulting shockwave doesn't just
straight away
damage
to
the
ground.
facility, it collapses the mountain from the inside out.
Oh, it will automatically
The
fall.
final phase marks the biggest shift from
Final
2025.
phase.
We aren't just hitting nuclear sites anymore. We're targeting the regime's survival. From the depths of the Persian Gulf, the U.S. Georgia launches a salvo of Tomahawk cruise missiles. Their targets are not factories, but people and command centers.
Oh.
IRGC barracks and intelligence HQs are struck to sever the chain of command, fueling the crackdown on protesters. Finally, to prevent a retaliatory strike on Israel or Saudi Arabia, the U.S. targets the missile cities, the vast underground depots in the Zagros Mountains. The goal is to trap the regime's ballistic arsenal underground, burying their sword before they can swing it. The second strike is designed to be the final word. By combining cyber warfare, space dominance, and the heaviest conventional ordnance on Earth, the U.S.
Wow.
creates a scenario of total overmatch.
This was a very informative video, and now we understood that why they needed like 2 aircraft carriers, because we think about that even the one aircraft carrier has so many jets and so many things, and because the operation looks so simple on the ground, the leader was dead or something, but it's not. It's like heavily planned.
True. And I just had question in between that. These aircraft carriers are so strong, but recently what we saw was an Iranian missile was struck to the USS Abraham Lincoln
Yeah.
aircraft carrier. So how they were not able to retaliate to it, because such technology, it is so powerful, it could be easy for them. But the main thing is, in this era, the technology is the biggest weapon, because the satellites they are using, they are the main thing that the radar is being dismantled, because it's like when you're using a computer, if the CPU is being attacked, or it has malware in it, so the other things will also not work. Same way it goes for these missiles, which are they are followed by the radar, and
Yeah.
if the radar is dismantled, everything is in the hands of US. So let me know, what do you guys feel about this video in the comment section below. So do like, share and subscribe. Bye.